Hi guys, it's Monday. We hope everyone's day is off to a magical start. Welcome to Disney on a Dime. Today, Eric and I wanted to stop in and share with you, some of the value resorts that you can really find in Orlando, not just the ones on Disney property or Universal property. We actually are going to touch on those, but we wanted to, kind of look at Orlando as a whole.
Yep.
But before we get started with this video, as you guys see, we are outside in our backyard here in Atlanta.
Gorgeous
the weather is just amazing.
This is the kind of weather that you want when you're at Disney. It is 73 degrees, not a cloud in the sky.
This is park day weather.
This is park weather.
Yeah.
So when we say value resort, specifically we're talking $150 and below.
Okay.
So we're going to do values 150 and below. We'll probably do one that's mid-range. I would probably say that's 150 to 300.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a luxe that's 300 and above.
Yeah.
And we're just doing...
But just value in this particular video.
Yeah, this is just value.
Just value.
So this will be 150 and below. And
then
then we'll do mid-range, which is 250 up and go from there. Or 150 up and go from there. So also, we're just kind of looking at standard rooms. So we did a previous video where we talked about hotels for larger families with suites.
Yep.
Here we're just doing standard rooms.
Yep.
And actually, one of the things I like about vacationing in Orlando is if you compare Orlando to other major cities here in the States, the hotel prices are actually a lot cheaper. Like, what have you seen in trying to book hotels in Manhattan and
Oh my
New York?
gosh, when you go to New York and you're getting just a standard room, oh my gosh, thousands of dollars. Okay, that's what we found.
You can't walk in the door for less than 500.
No, and then also too with New York, a lot of their rooms you have to upgrade to a larger size room if you have more than 2 people.
Yeah. So Orlando is a really good value because you do get a lot for your money. Even here recently, we were in San Francisco. We went out to Yosemite and we paid, I think, $400 a night.
Just for a standard room.
And what did you think of that hotel?
It was terrible. It was so bad, in fact, that we gave them a nice, not so glowing review on TripAdvisor.
And I'm glad you brought up TripAdvisor because TripAdvisor is actually where we're going to start.
Yeah.
In all our videos, when we talk about hotels, I think you always want to start at TripAdvisor. We're going to show you on the screen where you pull up a city like Orlando, which is obviously what we're looking at, and you look at the rankings and you figure out, what's the number 1 hotel, what's the number 2 hotel. So we're going to go through the rankings. We're going to pick some hotels that, as my wife said, are off property. We're going to look at Universal, some of the hotels we've stayed at, and we're going to look at some of the Disney hotels, some of which we have personal experiences with. And we'll talk about that.
All right, so let's take a look.
Okay guys, so I'm going to keep this really simple. The way I started my search is I'm just going to Google TripAdvisor Orlando. And what's nice is when you put this in Google, TripAdvisor does a really good job, and you can see it down here. It's not just hotels, right? So for Orlando or any city, we often look at not just hotels, but things to do, restaurants, right? Some of you may be doing vacation rentals. We haven't done the vacation rental thing yet, but if you've ever done that, leave your comments and feedback on the video because I'd like to hear about what your experiences are. But if we click on this, what it's going to take us to is, TripAdvisor will have like a homepage for, all of your major cities. So this is, if you just put in Orlando, Florida, or Google it, this is essentially where you end up on TripAdvisor. So this is the homepage for Orlando. And again, it's not just lodging, right? We also look at things to do, right? So the top ranked things to do in a particular city, restaurant reviews, all these things are very handy and easy to look up on TripAdvisor. And of course you can use things like Yelp as well. So if we kind of scroll down here, we'll see that, TripAdvisor already does a really great job of trying to kind of breaking this out into different categories. So obviously we're going to look at best value, but they've got some other categories here like, romantic hotels, vacation rentals. What's your favorite category on here?
Luxury.
The luxury hotels.
You see Four Seasons Resort pops up there.
And, one of the things you can make it, have that discussion when you check in. We used to actually I had a TripAdvisor hat.
Oh, yeah.
So when I checked in, I would actually wear my TripAdvisor hat so they know,
my room should be clean, or, we shouldn't have any problems with, checking in or anything like that, because they know that you are affiliated with TripAdvisor, which means you can, make things really good for them in the reviews, or it could go pretty bad for them in the reviews.
And my wife and I are both active. We post to TripAdvisor.
Yes.
At least every time we go on vacation, we post about our hotel experience.
And I think in doing that, it really helps to keep the hotels accountable. We go to these hotels and we spend our money. We just want to make sure we are getting, what we're paying for. And so by leaving a review, whether it be good or bad, really helps to keep the hotels accountable.
And so we're going to start out at the Holiday Inn. Since they say this is the best value, let's just start here. So I'm going to click on this. And one of the things you'll see about a lot of the Disney hotels, you got to be careful, right? Or a lot of the Orlando hotels. This is a good deal. But, because you can see, it's $126, but it's not, near the resort. So, you can pay a cheaper price sometimes if you're willing to stay further out. I don't know that I would necessarily recommend staying all the way out near
because
UCF.
We have another video where we talk about the ideal number of days that you're going to be vacationing in Orlando. And so let's say you are staying somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 and 5 days. You don't want to spend the bulk of your time on the roads. I know we spoke about the traffic in Orlando a few videos ago also. The traffic in Orlando has really kind of gotten up there. Their traffic can kind of be a little bit more comparable to some of the larger city traffic. And so you don't want to get too far out away from, what you're really going to Orlando for, which is to go to the theme parks. You don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the road traveling back and forth.
Yep. So I can just use this as a starting point, and it's not really obvious, but when you pull up any hotel for any city, always look for this, because you can actually click on this link. And this link is nice when it has hotels in a particular city, because what it does now is it gives you the ranking. And this is what's really important. Now, you got to be careful. TripAdvisor's kind of started doing some sneaky stuff. So the EON here, it might be a great hotel, but it's actually not number one. It's sponsored. So they paid to have
that spot at the top of the page.
Yeah. So the number one hotel is actually Universal's Cabana Bay, lo and behold.
Oh, wow, we've actually stayed there.
We've stayed there. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram. And I think we'll actually include some of our pictures from Instagram of our stay at Cabana Bay. We had a great time at Cabana Bay.
Okay.
I have no complaints about Cabana Bay. The number 2 resort we've also stayed at, which is Disney's Pop Century
Resort.
Actually, we didn't stay at Pop Century. We stayed at Art of Animation, which
That's
is basically in the same complex.
Yeah, they're kind of connected.
And we're going to look at all the various Pop resorts. So you'll notice, too, as I look at this, and again, there's just so many ways to kind of slice and dice the data. We're looking at best value and top ranked. So these are going to be, your more affordable hotels. I wouldn't necessarily say all of these are value, but they are going to be the more affordable. If we just wanted to do straight lowest price, I could click here and then go to just lowest price.
All right. And so also, you just want to keep in mind what the ranking.
Yeah.
Is the ranking ranked high because of its location? Is the ranking ranked a particular way because of maybe, let's say, a breakfast that is offered? Is it ranked high because of cleanliness? For us, cleanliness is always going to be a top priority.
So, you see what happens when we click just straight best value. And again, you get what you pay for. I think Orlando hotels are more affordable than a lot of hotels, but this is number 321 out of 335, and they call it the Roachwood Suites.
Okay, that's a signal for us to let's keep looking.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
to even take my.
So I'm not even gonna use lowest price. I'm gonna do best value, and that's the thing. It's value, right? It's not necessarily what you pay; it's what you get for the money. You can pay a low price, but you'll have a miserable vacation.
Right.
So we'll book Cabana Bay. We'll book one of the Disney Value Resorts, but I don't just want to show the Disney and Universal Resorts. So let's find. All-Star Movies is great. That's another good one. I would not necessarily say Port Orleans. I would say this is more of a mid-priced.
Yeah, $209. What about that Wyndham? Well, that one.
So that's great. Actually, what I'm going to look at. So I'm a Hilton. Again, if you watch one of our earlier videos, I talked about your 2 major chains are Hilton and Marriott, and they own a lot of different properties. So we do a lot of Hilton resorts.
Yeah.
Like the Waldorf in Orlando is a Hilton resort. And there are a lot of Hilton properties in Orlando. So we're just going to look at Hilton properties.
Okay.
And these are 2, we've actually stayed at the Hilton Orlando Bonnet Creek before.
Yeah, but babe, it's $229.
Oh, so this isn't a value.
That's not really a value.
So not a value. So we'll do the Hampton Inn Orlando Lake Buena Vista. All right. So we've narrowed it down. We're going to look at the Walt Disney resorts, all of their value resorts. We're going to look at Cabana Bay at Universal, and we're going to look at some Hilton Hampton Inn type resorts.
Okay.
And see what the prices are. So let's look at the Disney Value Resort. So if you've seen any of our other previous videos, what we've been kind of doing is booking around the 4th of July, just as an example. So it's actually saved that in my web browser here. So we're going to book for all the same days. So we're going to do the 1st of July through the 5th, 2 adults, 1 child. And what you can do, Disney actually does a good job of breaking this up. So you have your deluxe villas, deluxe resorts, kind of your high-end, moderate resorts, and the value resorts. Now, I would not necessarily say it's going to be tough to get a value resort for $85 a night. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's pushing it.
Years ago, when we stayed at the first resort we ever stayed at was All Star Sports. It might have been $85
right. 17
years ago, but I don't think you can get that. So let's do Art of Animation. That's the newest value resort and probably the most popular. Let's find prices. Now, we're just booking a straight hotel just by itself. If you watch our dining plan resort, we also show doing this with the vacation package where they also include the dining plan.
Right.
So here's what's interesting. So Art of Animation is a little bit unique. They have the Little Mermaid rooms, and these are kind of standard 2-bed rooms, just one room.
Yeah, smaller bathrooms.
Yeah, smaller bathrooms, and these sell out quickly.
Right.
Because the Art of Animation also has a lot of suites, and that's unique about the Art of Animation. So once you get into suite territory, it's a good value for a suite, but you're $200 plus.
Right.
So we're sold out. So for a kind of standard value room. So let's pick another resort. So let's go back here. Let's do view all resorts, and let's see if it gives us some alternatives. And again, Disney is really good about showing you options. So just by viewing all resorts, we can do Pop Century, we can do All-Star Sports. So let's do All-Star Sports. Let's take it back to where we first stayed. So
$112 a night. Let's see.
And again, that's compared to what you would get on a lot of other vacations and a lot of other locations. That's a good value.
Especially when you consider the fact that Disney is going to throw in transportation. There is a cafeteria on site for you to eat.
Let's look at, I'm glad you brought that up. We'll look at amenities too, because I haven't done a good job of talking about the amenities, especially for the Disney and Universal resorts. So I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. But you can see here, great prices. Views are a big thing in Orlando, the view of your room in almost any hotel. You always have the pool view, the view overlooking the parking lot, which is typically cheaper. So a way you can save money is if the view isn't a big thing, if you're not like, I don't have to be overlooking the pool, you can save a couple of bucks.
And I know for us, I typically wanted to stay away from the pool view rooms because those are going to be your rooms that have a lot more traffic outside of your door. As you guys know, I'm sure these rooms do open to the outside. So if you are near the pool, just think about it, especially if you're going during July, the pool is going to be extremely popular, very busy. So if you're back in from the parks and you're just trying to relax and unwind, you're going to have a lot of, noise outside of your door if you choose that pool view.
And you keep bringing up excellent points. The value resorts at Disney, okay, and Cabana Bay at Universal, all open to the outside. So essentially what they've done, they've almost taken like a motel design where the door is open to the outside. So there is no hallway. Your room, when you open your door, you're outside.
You're outside.
But they made the ground so beautiful. And we may, throw in some pictures. I guess we can throw in like some stock photographs of some of our pictures. The grounds of all these value resorts are so well themed. These are actually some of the best themed resorts. So let's go to recreation. So we have the pools. Let's see if they have any good pool pictures. Gorgeous pools at these resorts. So even though they're value,
it's just beautiful.
The theming on the value resorts are, again, and it's actually a lot better than the theming at some of the other resorts. Like if you stay at Four Seasons or Swan and Dolphin or Boardwalk, those are looked at as kind of more mature adult hotels, so they don't do as much of the theming because they're assuming you don't want that. This is really kid friendly.
Yeah, so that's the surfboard bay pool, very pretty.
Yeah. And one of the videos that we did, we talked about the appropriate age. When someone's old enough to come to Disney. If you're traveling with a small child, they're going to love theming like this. Your teenager might not care as much.
Not so much.
So we can book this for $112 a night. That's a great value. Now let's compare that to Cabana Bay. So this is the Cabana Bay Resort at Universal. We stay here also. We'll post some of our Instagram pictures in the video. It's got like a retro theming. I would definitely go on. The theming is wonderful. You really like the retro theming.
Oh yeah, and also Cabana Bay is currently working on a couple of new towers, I do believe. So if you really love a fresh new hotel, you may want to go ahead and head over to Cabana Bay.
And you can kind of see even in the pictures here, they did like a 60s retro theme. So we really like that.
We love too, babe, if you can just go back to that picture for a second. We love the fact that the room was kind of divided up. It is a standard room, but it's a little bit larger than your, I guess, standard size room. You have a little kitchenette over behind that little divider there. You have a sink, they have microwave, there's a cabinet, they have a few dishes. There's even a little sitting area over there with a TV and some nice looking retro chairs.
Yeah, they kind of did almost like a little mini suite.
Yeah, like a mini suite.
I wouldn't say it's a full suite. And this is one thing about Cabana Bay that's better than the Disney value resorts. The room is a little bit bigger. The value resorts, they're a little tight. But I think for the money, it's worth it. So we're going to do our same dates, the 1st through the 5th of July. Let's book it. And we're just going to do a standard room. Now, look at this stuff. So a little bit more. We've actually broken our, I said we're not going to go over 150. So
ceiling.
Yep. So, a little bit higher, but I think we're still in the price range. Poolside room, you're getting in the $200 range. So, the difference between $178 and $190 adds up over a few days. And
also we have to consider too the time of year that we are booking this trip. This is peak season, July. That's pretty peak season, in the summer. But let's say you were trying to book a trip and you were wanting to stay at Cabana Bay, let's say maybe January, February, the prices might be a little bit lower.
Yep. And then let's go ahead and book this. Let's see what happens if we book it. So you want to be careful and make sure that you read the fine print. The thing I see with a lot of hotels in anywhere you travel, you want to look at the taxes, you want to look at your total stay, you want to look at if they have parking fees. A lot of hotels now, you won't see this as much with the value resorts, but a lot of your high-end resorts, they just automatically valet park and charge you for it. So you definitely want to look at that room total and kind of read the fine print. So I think for the number of days, this is, pretty reasonable, pretty affordable. All right, so we've looked at kind of two on-property resorts that are comparable. Now let's look at the Hilton. So what I did, I just went to the Hilton website and I just put in Lake Buena Vista in Orlando, Florida. And what I like about this, if you go to Hilton or Marriott, they're going to give you choices because both Hilton and Marriott have a lot of different brands. And you can see all the different brands that Hilton has. And, you might not have realized, but these are all Hilton hotels. So we do, for example, the Waldorf. But for business, I'll stay at Hilton's. For my work, I travel. I'll stay sometimes at Hampton Inns. So I stay at all these hotels, and I'm a Hilton Honors member. So definitely join the hotel membership program so you can start to build up those points. And Hilton has, what's nice is you've got your map, so you can kind of zero in. And, down here, you want to be close to kind of Lake Buena Vista. Okay. So you can kind of, use the map and then look at, they've got some really great rates here.
Yeah, those are great. Now, Eric, have we actually put in the dates?
Yeah, I actually did. So I put in the 1st through the 5th. Wow. But what I would do, right, I would cross-reference, and a lot of hotels have gotten hip to it. They cross-reference it with TripAdvisor. Yeah. So I would cross-reference it with the TripAdvisor review and just make sure that, it's got good TripAdvisor reviews. Right. So, and they show a little bit of it here, but I would actually go to TripAdvisor and just actually put this into TripAdvisor and see what they say about this hotel. So, check your distances. You might say, hey, I'm going to be actually interested in maybe doing the Orlando Eye. So, maybe we can get a hotel that's closer to the Orlando Eye, the new Ferris wheel that they have there, that's a little bit less expensive, right? So this is only $105 if you join Hilton Honors.
So just to recap, guys, our first source of information was TripAdvisor. We looked at the hotels by ranking. We found some great values off property. And as we mentioned in the video, we're big fans of all of the Disney all-star resorts, Art of Animation. We really like Cabana Bay at Universal. Those are all great values for really any size fan. Are you having fun at that
ride? I love this rocking
It's like your ride over here. So a lot of stuff to choose from. Definitely check it out on TripAdvisor and leave your comments below.
Well, that's it, guys. We again hope that you found this video to be very informative, and as always, guys, don't forget to make every day magical. Bye, guys.